Quote of the day: the waves may toss you, the wind may test you, but even the smallest boat finds its way when it keeps its sail towards the light. When you pass through the waters, I will be with you, and through the rivers, they shall not overwhelm you. Isaiah chapter 43, verse 2. That is the quote of the day. Now let's get right into this video. Now, NXT this week, man, it was so entertaining, so fun from start to finish. And that main event, oh my God, dude. I waited all night for it and it did not disappoint. It even exceeded my expectations, dude. That main event was insane. Oh my God, this show was so fun. I was hooked and I enjoyed this from start to finish, man. This was a show. This was what I was waiting for, man. I was telling you even last week, I was like, next week's gonna be so fun. This show's gonna be so fun. It's gonna be so entertaining. It's gonna be a banger. And NXT did not disappoint. They delivered exactly what they advertised. Dude, I enjoyed this show so much from start to finish, like I said. And let's not waste any more time. Let's just get right into the review. Now, before we get into the review, let's talk about some of the backstage segments. Let's just get them out the way early. So, some of the backstage segments we saw a backstage interaction between Lola Vice, Miss Parker, Jada Parker, and Kalani Jordan. They're just basically chit-chatting, sending some shots at each other, saying, don't injure my partner, stuff like that, just a little interaction. After this, we saw an interaction between Chelsea Green, the Secret Harvest, with the GM, Ava. And this is basically her, politicking, trying to figure out who her opponent is. Tavion Heights said he was going to get someone to deal with her, stuff like that. So it's just that. After this, we saw another backstage segment. And in this backstage segment, we saw Obafemi, Moose, Trick Williams, and Javon Evans, and they were just basically talking to each other, sending warnings, and they were telling each other that we don't have to like each other, we don't have to like one another, but tonight we must be on the same page for this match. For the main event, we have to be on the same page if we want to win. Another backstage segment we got was that, multiple backstage segments, honestly, because throughout the whole entire night, we saw the tag team champions, Hank and Tank. They just kept showing up in funny disguises, funny scenarios. They were on the search for Dark State. They were trying to get their lick back. They were trying to get their, they're just trying to get some payback on them, So they were just showing up disguised, looking for Dark State. And that was pretty funny. I really liked their disguises, the scenarios, the interactions with them and other stars. It was really funny. And the last big important segment I want to say we got was the promo segment from Jasper Chuen. He was basically addressing Ricky Saints, and he tells Ricky Saints that you've been handed everything throughout your whole entire career, and I am going to take all of it. And that includes the spotlight. So, at Heatwave, I'm coming for you. I'm coming for everything you've worked for and everything you've, earned. So that's basically what he told Ricky Saints. And that was that. Those were some of the important backstage segments. Now let's get into the review. Let's deep dive into it. So on this show, the first match we got, it was Lash Legend versus Nia Jax. And this was a very fun match. It was a very fun, heavy-hitting match. And let me tell you, Lash Legend was giving Nia Jax a run for her money. Lash absolutely refused to let Nia Jax bully her around in the ring, These two women were evenly matched throughout this whole fight, evenly matched to a T. Nia Jax was fighting back. Lash Legend was refusing to let Nia bully her. It was a fun match, heavy hitting, And dude, let me tell you, this right here, this wasn't a fight. It was a battle for a very important title, It was a battle for the title of the most destructive force in all of WWE. These women knew what they were fighting for, and they had their eyes set on the goal. And, they showed up and tried to tear each other apart. They tried to destroy each other. Nia Jax and Lash Legend even went crashing through the announcer's table. I'm telling you, this wasn't a fight. It was a battle. Just have the right to call themselves the strongest and most destructive force in all of WWE. This was fun. This was amazing. In the very end, though, Nia Jax ended up hitting two huge annihilators on Lash Legend for the win. And let me just say, the outcome of this match did not affect any women. They both looked strong. They both looked amazing. I feel like it, benefited them. They both look even bigger now. They look even more like stars, especially Lash Legend too. She really had an opportunity to showcase herself, showcase her moveset and stuff like that. And she absolutely, took the opportunity and she did that. Both of these women look even better now, in my opinion. This benefited both women. After this, we got our second match. It was Charlie Dempsey versus Say His Name and He Appears. I believe in Joe Hendry. I believe in Joe Hendry. It was Charlie Dempsey versus Joe Hendry. In this match, it was pretty quick, honestly. I think it was maybe a 6-minute match at most. But overall, though, this match was a pretty grounded and technical match. They were just, both of these men were just trying to out wrestle each other, trying to outmaneuver each other, trying to show, I'm the best man. I'm the king of the ring type of thing. They were just trying to outfight, outclass, and outmaneuver each other. And it was pretty fun for what it was. Even though it was grounded, it was still fun and still engaging. It was just like I said, two people trying to out wrestle each other. But in the very end of this match, Joe Hendry was able to hit the standing ovation finisher on Charlie Dempsey for the win. And it was pretty cool seeing, Joe Hendry wrestle again on NXT. It's always fun seeing him show up. After this, we got an in-ring promo from Josh Briggs, and he was basically addressing Inamura. So Josh Briggs comes out and he tells the fans, "You're booing me for no reason. Your boos mean nothing to me. I've seen what you cheer for." Inamura said he was my friend, but he's not. He's selfish. He's spineless. And Inamura only cares about himself. I tried to make him a champion, but he failed because he was too honorable. And he says, "Inamura, how many times do I have to tell you this? There is no honor in this game." And then Josh Briggs ends up challenging Yoshiki Inamura to a Philadelphia street fight next week. And Inamura basically, he comes out and he accepts the challenge. And these two men break out in a huge brawl. And they have to be separated by security officials and, referees and stuff like that. And it was pretty fun. It was pretty cool. And I'm kind of excited for this match. I know Yoshiki's absolutely going to show up and show out. I don't really know Josh Briggs' moveset that much. I'm not too familiar with him. I've seen a few matches, but, I've yet to see him shine like he should, So I'm kind of looking forward to see what both men can do, After this, we got an exclusive interview segment with the Muscle Muffin, JG, Jordani Grace, Jordan Grace. And the good news is that Jordan Grace, the Muscle Muffin, she is now medically cleared to compete and she is able to compete, And this was a very nice promo segment with some very powerful words. So let's just break down what JG said, what Jordani Grace, the Muscle Muffin, said. So in this exclusive interview segment, Jordani Grace basically said, "Blake was actually right about what she was saying about me. Everything she said about me, she was right. But the real battle has never been with my body. It has always been with my mind and my self-worth. I let Blake Monroe in. I trusted her, and she showed her true colors. She's insecure, and she tries to project that on others, and that's her issue. In my match against Blake Monroe at Heatwave, I'm fighting to show the little Jordans out there. That's what she calls the fans, the little Jordans. I'm fighting to show the little Jordans out there that there is no blueprint to be a champion, no height requirement, no color requirement, or body type. And at Heatwave, I'm going to show up and I'm going to show Blake Monroe what a real champion looks like." And, I really like the message behind that. She's basically saying, I want to show everybody out there, the fans, the kids, the grown-ups, the adults, anybody, everybody. I want to show them that there's no blueprint to being a champion, no height requirement, no color requirement, no body type. You're perfect as you are and you could do whatever you put your mind to. And I really like that message. And I hope that sticks with you guys as well. In this life, there's no blueprint for anything, no height requirement, no body requirement, no color requirement. You can do whatever you set your mind to. And if you have a goal, a mission, a dream, go out, claim what's yours, And yeah, I really like this promo. And I really like the positivity that was spread, throughout this promo, Anyhow, after this, we got a tag team match, and it was Fallon Henley and JC Jane of Fatal Influence versus Vice City, Lola Vice, and Kalani Jordan. Now, this was a very fun match. It was a very fun, entertaining, quick-paced match, And there was so much energy throughout this match. The crowd, the wrestlers, the competitors, man, it was so fun. And the team of Kalani Jordan and Lola Vice, man, it was a treat watching them. I don't know. The chemistry, it's like they immediately just clicked, and I don't know. It was just so fun seeing it. We had a few cool spots and a few cool moments throughout this match, which I really enjoyed. In the end, though, Lola Vice ended up hitting her split-legged moonsault on JC Jane for the win. And because of the outcome of this match, there's now even more turmoil and tension between the members of Fatal Influence. There's more separation, stuff like that. So it's pretty cool. I'm excited to see where this story leads to as well, After this, we got our fourth match of the night. And it was Kendall Gray, Miss 61-0 with an amateur wrestling background, which is pretty cool. Still undefeated in, amateur wrestling, which I'm like, dude, that's a big accomplishment. 61-0, brother. I'm telling you, I get in 61 fights. I'm not being 61-0. Okay, that's all I'm saying. So I'm clapping it up for her. So that's pretty cool. 61-0 is a crazy record. So anyways, though, it was Kendall Gray versus Alba Fire. Let me just say, Kendall Gray was a one-woman wrecking crew. She has a unique in-ring intensity, a unique moveset, and she has great in-ring presence. And I'm telling you, you need to be on the lookout for her. She is an upcoming star, Keep an eye out for her. Don't be shocked when she breaks out into the main event scene, because she was amazing in this match. In a short amount of time, I'm like, dude, it wasn't even a long match. I'm telling you, she showed out and she, left an impact. So that's pretty cool. And that's what WWE is about. Whatever time you're you're given, whatever, you're given, make the most out of it, show up, show out, and make the fans fall in love with you. And that was exactly what she did in this match. Anyhow, though, in the end, with the help of Piper Niven, Alba Fire was able to pick up the win over Kendall Gray. And then at the very end of the match, we saw the LFG Season 1 women's winner, Tyra May Steele, an Olympic gold medalist, the first women's Olympic gold medalist in WWE ever. She showed up and she completely wiped out the Secret Harvest and Ethan Page. And it was announced that she will face off against Chelsea Green very soon, and she is Tavion Heights' pick to deal with Chelsea Green. And I'm like, dude, I couldn't pick somebody better myself. She showed up and I was like, dude, this looks like a woman version of Oba Femi. What is this, dude? I was like, Jesus, she's gonna tear Chelsea Green in half, dude. She's gonna tear Chelsea Green apart. I was like, man, this is Oba Femi in woman form. And like, dude, this is no shade or anything. It's a compliment. I'm like, dude, she showed up. She looked huge. She looked buff. She looked dominant. She looked like a threat. I'm like, dude, I'm so here for this. And don't be shocked when she breaks out into main event scene too. Like, there's so much potential in the WWE right now, dude. I'm like, dude, call some of these people up. It's about time. Let them shine, But anyhow, after all that, we finally got to our main event. And the main event, as you know, it was Dark State versus Moose, the young OG, Javon Evans, the ruler, Oba Femi, and whoop that trick, whoop that trick, oh yeah, whoop that trick, I like it, Trick Williams. It was Dark State versus Moose, the young OG, Javon Evans, the ruler, Oba Femi, and Trick Williams. It was a 8-man tag match. Now, let me tell you, this match, like I said in the beginning of the video, was so entertaining. Everybody showed up and they showed out. And man, somehow Javon Evans still continues to shock me and surprise me with his moveset and his high-flying moves. Dude, he's doing stuff. I'm like, dude, what even was that? Dude, I had my mouth like open. I was in shock. Like, he went flying over the turnbuckles. Like, he did a front flip over the turnbuckles onto the outside area onto a different competitor. I'm like, dude, how do you even come up with that? How do you even do that? I'm like, dude, Javon Evans is so crazy in the ring. Like, when I tell you, when they say that boy is bouncy, dude. Holy God. I'm like, dude, I'm still shocked by how athletic he is. It's crazy seeing him wrestle, man. Like when you hear Javon Evans is gonna be in the ring, you're in for a treat. You're gonna be in for something you've never seen before, and that's it's really cool to have that whole character and this whole title this early on in his career. He's gonna be big one day, soon, very soon. I hope at least. But anyhow, though, like I said, this match was fun. This match was everything I was looking forward to, everything I wanted it to be, and it was a heavy hitting match with crazy spots and fun high flying moves. This match was undoubtedly match of the night. It was amazing. But in the very end of the match, there was a lot of miscommunication, and I mean a lot of miscommunication. And I don't think I could even call this miscommunication at this point. This was premeditated backstabbing at this point, The ruler, Oba Femi, he ended up accidentally, quote unquote, accidentally hitting Javon Evans with a flying uppercut. And I'm like, dude, come on, accidentally? Right. Then after that happened, Moose accidentally, quote unquote, spears Oba Femi in half. I'm like, dude, this is premeditated backstab. Stop calling it an accident. Like, I'm telling you, dude, how do you accidentally uppercut your teammate, accidentally spear your teammate? Like, that's crazy. But like I said, though, with a lot of miscommunication, that happened. And at the very end of the match, Trick Williams just decides, to kick it back, step away from the match, and he watches as Dark State jumps and beats down and manhandles Javon Evans. And surprisingly enough, at the very end of the match, Dark State was able to pick up the win over that crazy 4-man team. Surprisingly enough, like I said, I didn't see that coming at all. I honestly thought the team of Oba Femi, Trick Williams, Moose, and Javon Evans were going to win, clean sweep type of thing. Swiftly after the match ends, Hank and Tank finally get the opportunity to show up and get their hands on Dark State, and they did not waste any time. As soon as the bell rang, I swear Hank and Tank's theme song just hit, and they came out and it was straight hands. It's like they're like, oh, it's on sight the next time I see you. As soon as the bell rang, like not 2 seconds later, Hank and Tank were ready out throwing hands, throwing feet, throwing toes, throwing fingers, dude, throwing headbutts. Like, they came out for blood, and they ended up jumping Dark State to the best of their ability. It was still like a 4-on-2. They didn't do the job correctly, but they tried. They tried their very best. And that's how the show ended. Dark State picked up the win, and they got jumped by Hank and Tank, and that was your whole entire show. And this episode overall, like I said, it was so fun and entertaining, and I would rate it a solid 8 out of 10. From the matches to the segments, everything was just fun, entertaining. It flowed, like this show flew by. It was so fun, and I enjoyed everything from start to finish. This show was so fun, so entertaining. I was looking forward to it, and it absolutely did not disappoint. NXT stood up and they delivered, as corny as it sounds. But anyhow, though, like I said, I absolutely enjoyed this, and I'll rate it a solid 8 out of 10. Anyways, though, that's my breakdown and my review of this week's episode of NXT. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for hearing me out. And thank you for being here. Like, comment, and subscribe if you want to. Like, comment, and subscribe if you'd like to. And like, comment, and subscribe if you choose to. As always, it's been a pleasure. I'm out.